Thank you very much, Alison. And thank you so much for choosing this session. I hope that we're going to leave you with some really practical suggestions for ways in which we can enhance our use of technology, and also to think about that relationship between humans and technology. I'm joined today by Neil Wilkinson, and Neil's a head teacher from Derby School, the Bemrose School, which is one of the examples that I'm going to present. And such is the commitment of Neil. He's a head teacher and it's half term. He's on holiday, but he's joined using his iPhone. So Neil, if you want to say hello, please do come in. Hopefully we can hear your voice at some point. If there is any problem with the technology, then I'll power through the slides and we'll keep an eye on the chat and see what questions there are. So also I have to apologise. My colleague Chris Percy is unable to join us today. So I'm going to, in 20 minutes, talk about navigating career paths in the age of artificial intelligence. I'm an associate professor at Warwick University Institute for Employment Research, but I'm also director of Career Chat Limited, and that's a UK company. And it's with that hat on, particularly, I'm going to talk today. So let's move on to my next slide. Career chat. During lockdown, I felt, as a person who spent most of my life in the field of careers, I felt a bit lonely and felt that actually we weren't able to connect in the way that we used to. And so I set up a series of webinars called #CareerChat. And what I learned from that, from people all over the world, they just wanted to chat about careers. And through that, I also was able to reflect on, are we using technology to really good effect? And what sorts of new technologies are there now that we can use? So through Career Chat, our real mission and purpose is to enable people to find fulfillment through their career choices. And CC is a careers chatbot that we have been using in a number of different places, for example, in schools. And I'm going to present 2 case studies of schools in England who've been using CC in different ways. It's also been customized and embedded within a university careers and employability website. And again, I can give you the link to that if you're from an HE context. We're working with Ukrainian refugees in London who are in transition and wanting to see what sort of opportunities there may be for them, and also with further education and employability services. But for this specific session, I'm just going to really focus on career education and what goes on in schools. So back in 2020, had a seed of an idea and was very fortunate to receive some grant funding for innovation from Nesta, which is an organisation dedicated to innovation. And I realised in 2018, having spent 4 years working with public employment services on career coaching and ICT, that very few of us in the careers field, myself included, were really looking at artificial intelligence. And we now know, just recently, the explosion of technology and AI that we're now faced with. So I do very examples, tell you a little bit about the journey, and then just show you how CC, the career chatbot, is being used in schools. I'll pause for a second and see whether Neil is able to say hello. Let's pause and see if we can hear Neil.
Morning, everybody. I'm not sure my Wi-Fi is a good signal. I'm actually in the south of France, so hopefully people can hear.
We can hear you loud and clear, Neil. Thanks very much. Neil, I was going to set the scene just around your school, the Bemrose School. It's an inner city school for children and young people from the age of 3 right up to 19. It's based in a city just sort of a mile outside the city centre. It's got a nursery with 300 pupils, 780 students in that age 11 to 16 bracket, and a growing sixth form. That's young people, 17, 18. Neil, do you want to just briefly tell us a little bit about, the distinctive aspects of your school, particularly the parents that you serve in your locality?
Yeah, contextual demographics. We have a large number of children and parents where English is not their first language. So around about 60% of our parents and children, English is an additional language. We speak 47 languages as mother tongue through school. So sometimes communication with parents can be a challenge. We use interpreters quite a lot. We use the virtual world and intelligence that we can use to translate and items like that. Around 15, 20 years ago, around 20% of our children did not go into employment or education on leaving school, and it's now down to about 2% and lower. We've had a real push on making sure we work closely with the families and the children from a very early age on their employability skills and their aspiration and inspiration into careers.
Thank you, Neil. And Neil has been at the forefront in Derby City around career-related learning in primary as well. So in the very short space of time, I'm going to just give you a little overview of what we've been doing in relation to career education and the use of artificial intelligence in the Bemrose School. I'm also going to give you an example of a multi-academy trust, which is in the areas of London, Oxford and Dorset, where we have also been using CC, the career chatbot, to support career education and career learning. I'll share some lessons learned, some ideas of experiences on the use of the chatbot, and really very keen to hear from you. Perhaps in the chat, you might put in an example of, are you using chatbots at the moment, or what sort of AI are you using? So here's the question really that we set out to answer, which is how can a chatbot powered by AI and machine learning, and we might replace machine learning now with large language models, how can these large language models be used most effectively to improve career learning outcomes in a secondary school situation? We've been on a journey. We're a very young company. And at the heart of what we've been doing has been partnerships, working with people like Neil, working with City and Guilds, which is a qualification body, working with local authorities, a range of partners and practitioners to help co-create CC, the chatbot. So when you see these slides to follow, bear in mind that this wasn't just one or two people coming up with an idea and doing this. We're a village, we're a collective, we're a body of people interested in how we can use technology to really good effect. We set up super user groups in different regions in England, and again, we customize CC where necessary. Now, just quickly to whet your appetite, there are different types of chatbots, particularly in a careers and information advice and guidance process. So let me just quickly give you an example. In France, there's Bob, the chatbot. And again, I've given you the link here in the slides. And you can see here that it's a chatbot sort of interface for searching publicly available information. It's not really curated, but it does have nudges and tactics to promote users to engage. And then there is, if you like, what I call the practitioner-facing CC and bot, which is really a repository of curated question and answer information, really drawn from what career guidance professionals would be discussing as part of career education. There are different levels, there's professional support access, and then there's integrated public and sort of professional development. And I will just wanted to use those two illustrations to say that, there's more than one chatbot. But here's the big challenge, I think, for all of us. And here you'll see that CC can be used on a mobile phone, on a laptop, on any device. But the big question really is about, are we talking about careers information advice or guidance? Could a career chatbot give guidance? Well, you might be surprised to hear that actually people have been using chatbot type models since the early days of computers. There was ELIZA back in 1996, and that was a chatbot with scripts to imitate a therapist or a psychologist. And here we are in 2023, and we've got this explosion now of ChatGPT, of Bard, of Bing, of lots of different tools. Don't be shy and tell me what sort of tools you're using on AI. So what we have been doing is we've been focusing on information and advice, because we believe that there are questions, very straightforward questions and answers that people would be able to self-help and be able to find out. Most importantly, they can do it any time of the day or the evening. And one of the benefits of having a chatbot like CC is that you could be on a bus going to school, you could be sitting watching the TV and just thinking, how do people get into these sorts of jobs? So curiosity is at the heart of what we do. At this stage, we very much believe that it's important that it's quick and it's easy to use and it's all in one place. And we draw data from a number of different sources. Most of them will be government quality assured resources. But can I just say that even with that, our Office for National Statistics that provides us with information on pay, that I have noticed that gender crops up sometimes in that it talks about a draftsman or a policeman and doesn't really talk about, alongside it, a policewoman. So we are being proactive in feeding back as well some of these gender stereotypes that creep into these big, large data sets. So CC, it's very distinctive, it's personalized. We did a demo just recently for the OECD. There's a recording if you want to see how it works live. But we want to really help people explore. That's at the sort of heart of what we're doing. There's all sorts of information embedded within the bot. And this will just give you an idea of very quickly what it would look like on your mobile phone. And most importantly, we are training CC to be able to do a warm handover to a careers leader in a school or a careers advisor. And in the case of Neil's school, we're working very closely with the careers leader so that that information that we're gathering and developing can feed into the process. So very quickly, Bemrose School, I've already said quite a bit about the context, and Neil has as well. One of the things that's been most exciting about this is to be able to make it quick and easy to use, QR codes, design posters. We're working with the careers leader and the teachers now on lesson plans on how to use AI effectively. It's embedded within the school strategy. Neil, do you want to add anything to that? And I'll sort of flip to the next slide and just show some of the early results.
Yeah, we've tried to use it as much as possible across all age groups. We know children are engaged perhaps too much with their phones, but it is a source of learning. It's a source of access for them to see careers and bring careers to life. They can explore it themselves, but also they can bring their family into it. And therefore you get that wraparound engagement of school, the family and the young person in the middle of that. And we've used that really to constantly push at different careers, and they can explore those careers and work out if they're the careers for them or not, because sometimes children need to see a career that's not for them in order to understand where their next step needs to be. And that's proved to be really effective. And you'll see from the data how often it's used, how frequently it's used, but also the impact in school has been more children making appropriate career choices that are sustained into the future.
So behind the chatbot, there is a dashboard, and we can see activity. We can search on gender, a whole ethnicity, a whole range of different things. So what we're doing is we're researching and we're really looking at that family sort of interface, as it were, so parents using it as well as their children. And I do think that that's a really good way forward. This will just give you an idea. We can see that many of the young people are looking to discover jobs. That means they don't really know what they want to do. We can look at the sort of occupations that they're searching for. So we're almost, instead of just looking at labour market intelligence from outside, we're looking at what do young people really search for and what are they looking for. And we can look at what time of the day as well. So you can see here that the bot's being used even at sort of 3 o'clock in the morning in some cases. Again, I won't read out this, but Claire, if she was here, would basically be saying that what we have tried to do, and we are researchers, so we're on this journey with Neil and his team. We're going into the school, working with the teachers, and actually empowering them to be able to use technology to really good effect. So the second example is Budmouth Academy Weymouth, which is part of the Aspirations Trust, again, linking with Korea's leader. And the difference in this example is that they're using Google Classrooms. So they're actually using the bot to plug it into Google Classrooms as part of their career curriculum. Again, we've had over 1,000 users, and we can see whether they're new, whether they come back. We can see, again, you know, kids in school, many of them don't know what they want to do. Why should they? But we can actually see, you know, how many are looking for that sort of self-employment or volunteering or other options. And again, we can compare and contrast these different occupations. Are they narrow? And they're actually quite broad and general. So again, I can put you in touch with the leader there. I didn't want to spend too much time, and I want to be respectful to our other presenters, but really just to say that the floodgates of poor practice in artificial intelligence are already opening. A mental health tech company ran an AI experiment on real users, nothing stopping apps from conducting more. And I know we're going to hear about some of the ethics associated with this, and I'm greatly interested in this. Again, you know, get Genie, you just, you know, you can get all sorts, you can get a career counsellor, but how do we know that the sort of career support that's being made available is trustworthy? And what we do is we link to the professional body, the CDI, and the Register of Qualified Careers Advisors, so that we know the people that the bot refers to follow a code of ethics. Now, I think as we go, please use the chat to share your views on the risks and opportunities to careers information, advice and guidance. We'll have a chance, hopefully, anyway, at the end. But the use of large language models, the sorts of GPT, Bard, Bing, we as a team are now beginning to look at, can we develop a set of indicators that would help people like Neil, practitioners, would it help them to know when it would be trustworthy to use artificial intelligence in the classroom? Because we know that Bart and Bing and GPT, they make things up. They said I was a professor at Derby University. I'm not a professor there. I'm a professor somewhere else. But what it does is it's a really cautionary tale that we have to be very, very mindful of how we're using it. But I believe that we can use it to really good effect. I don't think bots are very good at answering questions like, I'm feeling under pressure to make a decision about jobs. I'm very, very concrete and very specific. And you'll find that when you use the artificial intelligence like GPT and Bard and Bing, that it's very formulaic. We are basically basing our career education on good practice and good career conversations. And we're on a journey, and we hope that, you'll be able to connect with us, and very happy to provide a demo and tell you more about the bot as and when and if appropriate. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Neil, to joining us. I really appreciate that.